Okay, I've tried reading this a lot of times. Alright, I tried going back and forth and I just couldn't seem to have a proper understanding. Maybe I'm just stupid, but her kids are probably the most confusing kids. And there's a lot of confusing kids in Wuthering Waves, trust me. There's just so much where you just don't want to read and instead you just gotta have to play through it, then you get to a good understanding. Galbrena here, her forte, I believe she does have multiple forte gauge, and that already, to me, the way they translate this whole thing is very confusing, and we will get into that. But first off, look at this, you can pre-farm Galbrena right now if you want. She does use the same boss as Augusta, isn't that great? And I believe the skill upgrade materials right here is probably gonna be the new weekly boss. And I don't know if they did this before, but we finally get some combat roles that they can just let you know already, like that she is gonna be a main damage dealer. She does do heavy attack damage as well, so if you got any echoes, the Corosaurus echo there, you can just go ahead and build it. Remember that she does use heavy attack, that's what you need, and a bunch of crit stats. That is all. Without further ado, let's get into this, and I'm just gonna go through it, let it play for you guys. Normal attack is pretty fun, it looks nice. I have no problems with normal attack, it looks good. She looks like Bayonetta combines with Devil May Cry. We're gonna keep going. Resident skill. I do hope resident skill can be utilized as an exploration movement as well. That way you can like jump and leap through a place that is very far. It looks fun, you know? It looks nice. Let's see it again. Come on. Boom. Nice. I believe you can go even further than that. Right? They just don't show it to you. And then she whip out her wings like that. It looks nice, you know? Very diva. Here you go, you can read through this. Edge Transcended, Resonant Skill, Charge Forward. But what got me a bit confused is Resonant Skill, after you use it, you are in a new state, which is the Demon Hypostasis. And this is where it gets more and more complex, alright? You get the same flame is converted into an equivalent amount of Purging Flame. Let's just get that through your head, alright? These two, they're the same. They're gonna be the same amount, and I'm not gonna go through it anymore. You have this Hellfire Absolution here, Resonance Liberation. Do not use it until you use the skill first. You get to the skill, you get the damage multiplier increase. Alright, this is good. This is pretty normal stuff to understand. I get it. Forte Secure. I don't know. I read this through so many times, and I'm just so fed up with it. And I just want to play the character and have easy understanding. Alright. But look, let's just read through this. The threshold state, Galbrena is gonna be through this threshold state as a default. She is already in the threshold state, and I do not understand if threshold state will disappear or not. They don't really explain that part very well. But here we go. Demon Hypostasis, basic attack, heavy attack, all these attacks are like enhanced. And I will go through the Demon Hypostasis, the more afterflame. What is afterflame? They didn't explain that yet. It's right down here. While in the threshold state, Galbrena recovers afterflame if you are resonators, if the other resonators in the team use echo skills. And that is how you get the afterflame. It is, come on, get your head straight, Kuro Games, like properly line this thing up. It feels so confusing to read because sometimes I feel like I have to read from the bottom to the top. I get so confused. The more damage enemies take from various enhanced moves. When Purging Flames depletes, Galbrena exits the Demon Hypostasis automatically. So I think what this means is like every single time you attack, your Purging Flame will reduce. It does state right here, it consumes Purging Flame. When you finish up the Purging Flame thing, Demon Hypostasis, I believe this other form where she's glowing, it just disappears, and then she's back in her threshold state. Hellstrike. Press dodge while in combat action to deal fusion damage. The skill does not interrupt the hit counter of basic and heavy attack stages. So I believe that her attack is related to her like using dodge and then attack, dodge and then attack. That might be part of her kits as well, like how you play her. Which I believe this is the first time we've seen something like this. I don't think we have a character that needs to dodge and then do attacks. Different playstyle. I like it. And now they say right here, Hellstrike is the casting intro skill. Burning Drive. Enhance basic attack stage 4 and all resonant skill increase Galbrena's attack. Now that is something we know. It's kind of obvious that when she is in her Demon Hypostasis state is where she gains a bit of an attack increase and interruption resistance. Pretty basic stuff. Forte Gauge, Afterflame, and Synflame. While in Threshold state, Galbrena recovers Afterflame. Now this is the one that we already read before. While in Threshold state, she gains some Afterflame if the Resonators use the Echo skill, and Echoes with the same name can only be triggered once, which I highly doubt that anybody else will use the same Echo as her. This effect resets when Galbrena exits the Demon Hypostasis. All Afterflame is removed upon exiting Demon Hypostasis. You don't get the Afterflame anymore after you exit the Demon Hypostasis. That's kind of the same thing as the Purging Flame depletes, it exits the Demon Hypostasis. And then you're just in your Threshold state again. Hitting an enemy with various various types of skill will recover Sin Flame to recover that. This is just how Forte gauge work in the first place. Like, you don't need to confuse yourself. I believe I confused myself a bit too much. I don't need to overcomplicate this. It's just the same thing over and over again. It's the same for Zani, it's the same for Augusta, it's the same for Jiyan. All these characters just play the same way. You just need to hit some nearby enemies and you gain some Sin Flame. If you gain some Sin Flame, you can convert that into Purging Flame. Just don't complicate this, alright? So playstyle is probably gonna be very similar to Augusta and Zani. She also probably have multiple Forte gauge, afterflame and Sin Flame, and the threshold state probably makes sense once you have her as well. And also the purging state is the equivalent to Sin Flame. They just call it the purging state, but really it's just the Sin Flame getting reduced. That's what I think. Alright, let's moving on. Intro skill. I think we got the hard part to understand out of the way already. Now we just gotta go through this a lot easier. Intro skill, Hair Flare, Overload. Pretty basic stuff. But my god, isn't that the most underwhelming intro skill you've ever seen? Like, she just shoots a gun like that to the enemy's stomach, like boom, just like that. Nothing else. No extreme jumping or anything. I feel like Carlotta has better animations than her. Now, I don't mean to trash on her, alright? But I wish they did better. Let's look at this again. That's nice, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty good. Attack the target, dealing fusion damage. Pretty basic stuff again. Combat guide. When Resonators in the team, it casts Echo skill. Now, that is how she plays. It seems like you need characters to actually cast Echo skills. I don't know if characters like Phrolova can perform with her good or not, because I know Phrolova does a lot of Echo skill, right? I believe that is how she works. Almost all her attacks are Echo skill. Galbrena obtains Afterflame, which increases the damage dealt during the next Demon Hypostasis. So if Phrolova does work with her, then Galbrena obtains Afterflame very easily, right? And then you can perform the skill, and then you get some very insane amount of increase for your attacks. Press dodge during combat actions to cast Hellstrike. This is how she plays. This is what I read before, where you need to dodge and then attack. I still don't understand. I don't know. They don't show the animation here, but I believe that is the first time that we'll be getting a character that uses dodge and then attacks the enemy. That would be so good. Casting the skill increases Galbrena's attack resistance interruption within a certain period of time. We read that already. When Treasure State, Galbrena accumulates Sin Flame when her attacks hit a target. We read that as well already. Yeah, it's pretty basic stuff. This is how she gains the Forte gauge, just by hitting the enemy. While you're in the Threshold state, the Threshold state, again, she is just in her default state. It's no complication. You're just in your normal form, that's all. And then you press skill, and then you enter this glowing form where she has some special effects surrounding her. In Demon Hypostasis, 100 points of Purging Flames are obtained by consuming all available Sin Flame. Now, if you're a meta player and you fully understand how this whole kits work, for example, like, you need to have fully focused on how her Forte gauge works. Like, the Forte gauge is full, time it perfectly, and then you use your resident skill to enter the different form, Demon Hypostasis, and then you gain a ton of damage from it. That is how you play her, right? I guess, but I would just recommend you just play her, mash buttons, just enjoy the fun, right? Do not overcomplicate this. I'm sure the moment you play her, it will just run smoothly. Now let's go through the skills. Normal attack, Slayer's trigger. Also, I do not need to explain this or read you this whole thing at all, because they give you at the start right here that she is a heavy attack damage dealer. You only read this part because you didn't understand that. But you fully understand that you need to build her as a heavy attack damage. That is why they put this here in the first place. All are considered as heavy attack damage. 1, 2, 3 damage. And the stage 4 basic attack is considered as Echo skill, which is a bit different, I guess. Maybe she combines her attack here and there. I don't know. But it looks fine. Like, most of them are just heavy attack. This is the heavy attack considered as Echo skill, which is very interesting. But almost all around you see this considered as heavy attack. The mid-air attack, where she does the rainstorm from Devil May Cry, is considered as heavy attack damage. And then this one is considered as heavy attack damage. Launch a barrage of shots at targets below, dealing fusion damage. That is the rainstorm, no doubt. Considered as heavy attack damage. Dodge counter, also considered as heavy attack damage. And from what I can see here, she does 0 basic attack. She does not do basic attack. So if you build your Echo, you might want to avoid the basic attack because it does nothing for your character. That is insane. Even Augusta, she used her basic attack. Even Phrolova, that has Echo built up in her kit, used basic attack. She's also very different when it comes to resonant skill because it's considered as heavy attack damage. Almost everything is considered as heavy attack damage. That's news to me, man. And let's read through this. Resonant skill Essence of Malice. On reaching 100 points of Sin Flame, resonant skill is replaced with the whole thing, yeah. Where she is in her different form. Considered as heavy attack. Everything is considered as heavy attack damage after that. Resonance Liberation Hellfire Absolution. Attack the target and deal fusion damage considered as echo skill damage. In 85% multiplier increase for basic attack. It is interesting how she plays, right? She doesn't just focus on only heavy attack, she is echo skill damage. Now, I think I've come to a conclusion where I do believe there's gonna be a future character that will solely focus on echo skill. And this character might just, have an outro where it increase and buff only echo skill damage. Because look at this, there's so much considered as echo skill damage. It's almost an equivalent amount of times you see heavy attack damage as well. Like you see the Resonance Liberation all around is considered as echo skill damage. That to me is just wow, very surprising. Again, what you need to avoid Resonance Liberation, Resonance skill, basic attack. You just need attack percent and heavy attack damage. That is how you build Galbrena. Forte skill beyond threshold. By default, Galbrena is already in the threshold state, and in this state she accumulates afterflame and sin flame. Alright, I do believe we've come to understanding on that part already. Demon Hypostasis as well. I believe we understood it, right? This is the damage that she gains, alright? She gains some extra damage. Purgatory Scourge by 1.5% up to 60%. And the moment where Purging Flame depletes, the Demon Hypostasis is gone. The extra damage is gone as well. Basic attack Seraphic Execution. Perform up to 5 consecutive attacks dealing fusion damage. Consume Purging Flame on hit. Now this is just the same thing as well. Going through back, they have mentioned this multiple times that you need to use your basic attack and it will consume your Purging Flame and then will remove your Demon Hypostasis. They just mentioned it right here. I don't get why they mentioned it multiple times. I believe that is just all about it. This is something that is also just already been explained throughout the whole thing. If you understand how her Demon Hypostasis works, you understood all of this. You already get how this works. You just attack the enemies and they will consume your Purging Flame. And almost all of these attacks are considered as heavy attack. Wait, hold up. Hell Strike. To deal fixed amount of fusion damage considered basic attack damage. You serious? Isn't it a bit too late to add basic attack damage at this point? I feel like they're just doing that for the sake of like, if you get a basic attack damage on your Echo, it wouldn't be that wasteful. Hell Strike is probably just some useless attack movement, Burning Drive, you already get that. I already explained it to you. Afterflame, Galbrena can hold up to 40 points. Afterflame and Sin Flame, the more Afterflame you have, the more Demon Hypostasis do damage. The more Sin Flame you have, the more Purging Flame does damage for you, for Galbrena. And that is about all you need to understand with this Forte gauge. Intro skill Half-Flame Overload, also considered as heavy attack damage. Outro skill surprisingly not considered as heavy attack damage, but instead scales off her attack. So if you switch character, she will do one less damage to the enemy and then boom, that big attack. So having a high attack scaling is also pretty good as well. So this is how I would build her. I would obviously prioritize crits first, and after that I would go for heavy attack damage. I honestly, I've seen so much heavy attack damage scaling in her kits. I would probably prioritize on that first, and then I would go for her attack percent. And after that, you can just do whatever you want with the rest, right? It really doesn't matter. And again, that is how you build Galbrena. Inherent skill Oathbound Hunt. There's so much to understand in her kits. Oh my gosh, this kit never ends. There's just so much to read. And I'm really trying to dumb it down for you guys. One stack of Fated End is inflicted on the target enemy when the following skills hit. Intro skill, basic attack, dodge counter, heavy attack, volley of death, heavy attack again, mid-air attack, all of it, basically all of it, up to 4 stacks. Each stack amplifies the damage. So the more damage you do, the more attack you gain. Alright, understood. No more. No more. Honestly, isn't that enough? That's just enough, alright? Inherent skill, Sin Fiesta, testing basic attack stage 4, basic attack Seraphic Execution stage 5, heavy attack, recovers 10 points of stamina. Oh, that is very interesting. I wish I had known that sooner. I don't know if other characters do this. So basically, if you perform this stage 4 attack, basic attack Seraphic stage 5, I don't know why it's always like stage 3 or 4 or 5. It's a bit late, but yeah, it will recover some of your stamina. I wish they put this higher into the list. My god, like all of it is just so much to understand this whole thing, and some of it is very repetitive. They just copy paste the whole words, like from up here they just copy it to put it at the bottom. It's get your heads around Kuro games. Like honestly, they could really just make this easier to understand. They could dumb it down for you guys, they could actually summarize for you guys, but they just didn't, and they put me in a torture. So please like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.